Hey guys, it's your boy TG, and yeah, bring it from the bottom. You're locked in for a minute to win it. Yeah, I mean, hey, it's your boy TG and MPG, Marco Polo the Great, Marco July is his name. We got a lot of things to talk about, but first, welcome to Goode Entertainment, another edition. Um, and not even that, I bought me a Pop Tart because I just got back from a place called Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. Don't worry about what I was doing there, just know I was there. But in the same sense, guys, it's been a long time coming, and the boys are back in town. I've been using that slogan, and I don't own rights to that music. Had to clear that up. But on the other hand, there's been a lot of things going on in Goode Entertainment. I can only tell you a little bit, but starting out tonight, giving a brief moment of silence, keeping that our correspondence from another sports view, Tiara, she lost two of her uncles this week. That's enough said, and enough for the mind to even think about. Even not only that, to keep our other correspondent that normally be here, Cameron Taylor, and his family in our prayers because he had lost a dear family member yesterday, and also Marcus, your family, your mom's brother and your uncle, to keep you guys in our prayers. Is we can only imagine what the families are going through at this moment with everything with COVID and all this other stuff. And then you got to worry about death becoming one of the factors too, because it's the part of life, unfortunately. But them people are in a better place than we are. No more stress, no more worry, no more a lot of things, if you could say. But let's get right down to it. A lot of things to talk about today. NFL wise, boy, oh boy, and yeah, call me coach because I got my clipboard. It's a lot of things you can talk about today. First off, the retirement club. There's a lot of guys going in. First off, let me get this up out of here because I'm tired of it. So, and I might destroy a few things, but it's all right. But the retirement club. Normally these guys get old and retire, but we have one guy, quarterback, Alex Smith. We know a lot about. We've seen him not only play with the 49ers and then get bopped over after Colin Kaepernick's incident. They shipped him over to who? The Kansas City Chiefs. He went a couple other places, I believe, too, also. But in the meantime, he did his damage not only in the 49ers, got bopped over, and he made a lot of noise in the draft, actually knocking Aaron Rodgers to the Green Bay Packers. And Aaron Rodgers was thinking that he was going to the 49ers, but then it was Alex Smith. But after Alex Smith got bopped over from the 49ers to the Kansas City Chiefs, that's when he started seeing some hurdles in his career, and meaning that he had injuries and stuff like that come up, or just sloppy play at hand. Then we had an upcoming MVP that we talked about in Patrick Mahomes that forced the Chiefs to say, no, Alex Smith, we don't need you anymore. And then he got bopped over to the Washington football team. He may have did some other things throughout that time, but primarily the Washington football team, where then he came into the fact of getting injured, and we've seen that grave injury that happened, gruesome leg injury, never thinking that he'll come back at that moment to play sports ever again. And then he returned last season and said, no, my time is not up, and I'm going to be here to play. And he played through all the pain, all the adversity, and carried his team close to the playoffs. And then Tyler Heineke took over the boat as he got injured in the last week of the NFL, going to the playoffs. And guess what? They end up losing to Tampa Bay by a touchdown. So, not only that, before I hand it over to you, Mark, to talk about Alex Smith, how do you feel? We here again, another week of Goode Entertainment.
I'm feeling good. I mean, I'm blessed to see another day. Just keeping my family in prayers at all costs, even Cam Taylor's prayers, Tiara's parents in prayers, everyone in prayers. But realistically, I'm just blessed to see another day, thankful. And it's just like your slogan, the boys is back in town.
Yeah, we are. We are back in town, and I don't know how long I'm gonna be in town, but hope for a long, long time. Now we talk about these retirements and back about Alex Smith and him retiring. Not really a shocker because he just got bounced out of the Washington football team, formerly known as the Redskins. Bopped them out, and then they got a new talent at hand.
Right.
Well, not really new. He's about 90 years old, and that's Ryan Fitzpatrick, Fitzmagic. But in the same sense, what you guys say about Alex Smith? He may not have been the elite of the elite QBs in the league, but he's shown some talent over time, and now facing all that adversity and facing all the injuries and the pain, and I can only imagine breaking your leg and turning all them tissues and muscles and all that other stuff to come back and play when nobody knew or even thought it was possible. They told this man he may not even walk again. And he said, I'm going to go back out there and show you that I am who I am, and I'm going to play. And that's what he did. And he can't come back player of the year. He finished his career on a nice little Cinderella story, as you must. Not a Super Bowl, but he got some award, and then he ran off into the sunset. What you got?
When I think of Alex Smith, I mean, he's came a long way, starting with the 49ers. He was their starting quarterback for periods amount of time until Colin Kaepernick. He got drafted by the 49ers. So they said, Alex Smith, we don't need you. We like you, but we don't need you. We got our future quarterback in Colin Kaepernick. And then he getting shipped over to Kansas City. He's really been shipped through 3 different teams. But when you really look at Alex Smith, he wasn't no scrub or nothing like that, but he would, and he also wasn't that elite, but he was an average quarterback that can be a game manager and just be able to overcome certain opportunities and adversities as there is. I mean, you're talking about a quarterback that overcame a gruesome injury, let alone could have lost his life, let alone couldn't even play in the NFL anymore. So by him posting on Instagram saying that he's retiring, I can surely understand that because he doesn't want to face the same risk as him taking a huge blow to the leg that we was able to see him. So when you think of Alex Smith and his accomplishments, he's that type of quarterback with such gratitude and such grit and such fighting heart. And with Alex Smith, he would definitely be missed.
Definitely. We got another guy in the rank of just retiring, T.J. Ward. A part of that Denver Bronco defense, no fly zone. We know what it was about. We always will remember it. I just want to bring him in because defense means a lot. And
Yes,
T.J. Ward, there's no fly zone. That's all I gotta say. And not only that, talked about him, then going to go say the tight end for the Washington football team, Jordan Reed, stellar stud at what he does. This man, he was with the Redskins, then he switched over to the Washington football team. Logan Thomas came in the factory, and Logan Thomas took over the Brookfield B graduate from Lynchburg, Virginia. But Jordan Reed retired, stating that he retired over concussion issues. And we all know how concussions play a role in sports, not only football, hockey, baseball, everywhere, but primarily in football, horseback riding too. But football, concussions, get your damn head out the way. But in a serious note, concussions are a huge role, and this is a smart guy saying that if he thinks he's battling some issue, his own issue with concussions, it's best to get out before you go to a wheelchair. And that's what some players, unfortunately, as they get older, they would come back and sue the NFL. We've seen that happen in, I believe, 2011, 2010, when the NFL went through a large lawsuit with former NFL players that had concussions, contacted CTE, and they contacted other brain injuries that was long-term effect, and it hurt them over time, either causing severe injury or death. So concussions is serious, and I understand where he's coming from. Do you have anything to say about T.J. Ward or the great Jordan Reed? I mean, some people say he's high, but I say he's pretty decent.
Well, when you think of T.J. Ward, you just think about that outstanding, dangerous secondary alongside when you had Chris Harris Jr. and alongside Champ Bailey. When you was going, if you was any receiver that was going up against those three type of safeties or three type of cornerbacks in that secondary, 9 times out of 10 you was in trouble unless you was able to pick your pieces or pick your poison and finding your rhythm and your route running. But when you think of T.J. Ward, he was a stud player that can not only get after the ball, but can also get you some hits.
Definitely. And now let's get on to talking about from hits and retirement and concussions and all that to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Hey, I'm gonna tell you this. Earlier this week, I'm on another show, another sports view. Again, another sports view. I actually shared one of their podcast shows on this channel. So go check them out. Another sports view can be found on Facebook, Instagram, and I believe they're not quite on Twitter. But these women and myself that on this show is a women podcast talking about sports. They trash talk about sports because women love sports too. And I know the owner, Linda Taylor, God, she's fantastic. And not only that, you got Cheryl Green with a capital E. She may not be here tonight, but she was on that show Tuesday, and me and her went at it like we would do here on Goode Got to Detective. Cheryl, I'm watching you, and that's the bottom line to it. And I know where you at right now. You're taking care of business. So I understand that. But Kanisha and Miss Tracy, them two ladies, phenomenal. Again, like I said, Tierra was unfortunately not being able to be there because of family concerns and family, death in the family. And wow, them group of ladies are amazing. They had me dying laughing. Even though I had to get on you, Cheryl, about your delusion, like Cam Taylor. Y'all got delusion about your Giants. You're delusion about your Browns. And I really don't care. Ohio, I don't care. I really don't. But in the same sense, let's talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers. On another sports view earlier this week, Tuesday, I was going off about Pittsburgh because I feel like it's mind-boggling that the Pittsburgh Steelers extended head coach Mike Tomlin's contract for 3 years. This man let everybody and their baby mamas do whatever they want to do. He let Big Ben run the organization. You just don't do that. You're the head coach for a reason. And the bottom line of it is, this Steelers organization went from Big Bad Billy Joe, and they were the baddest thing in the AFC, and we were worried about them for a while because everybody go Pittsburgh. We know what they're talking about. We know what they're about. And then Mike Tomlin, as a head coach that had at one point organized one of the arguably greatest teams that could be, that crumbled in the tail end of the season. They went 11-0. How did you get bounced in the playoffs by the Browns? Well, yeah, I got it right. The Browns. But not even that, and there's no disrespect to the Browns, but his team crumbled. He lost not only James Conner, he lost Antonio Brown. They went to take and win a Super Bowl. He Juju Smith-Schuster's damn sure out the door. He just all he got is Big Ben. Then he got a defense. What is that? Nothing. He even lost two of his offensive linemen. They're out because they're retired. So your team is crumbling. I understand every team, every organization has what? A rebuilding stage. I understand that every one of them have a demolition mode. I understand that. But Mike Tomlin right now, damn it, I don't think he's worth a 3-year extension. I think he should be bounced. Now, who should they hire in his place? I don't know. That might be an issue. That man. But what do you think about Mike Tomlin? Do you think he deserved that 3-year contract?
I would say yes, only because when the certain things that you named that that you mentioned, the Pittsburgh Steelers, they went 11-0 last season, perfect record, but then they fall short against the Washington football team. Then after that, that sort of like crumbled their perfection in just winning games in general. Then you get bounced in the playoffs against the Cleveland Browns, your AFC North rival. Then on top of that, let alone you lost Bud Dupree, one of your pass rushers, your linebackers. Then then you got Juju Smith Schuster dancing on logos, so that became a bit of distraction as it was during the regular season. So it all makes sense. So it kind of makes sense why Mike Tomlin wanted that extension because he probably sort of told himself that he got to fix the situations going on in the Steelers organization. We got to revamp. We got to regroup as a team, as a dangerous team that they was, and they just got to develop. And that starts with the NFL draft coming up, which is next week. Just getting talented guys that can have that potential, have that dog mentality to where as though they can be able to make the playoffs again and not be embarrassed.
We definitely will see. Mike Tomlin, you said worth it. I said hell no. But we will see how the Pittsburgh Steelers feel in another season or two as this extension is granted and accepted. I think it's blasphemy almost, but I said so we will see different. Now let's talk about the Cleveland Browns, and let's talk about Cheryl's delusion. First time that she's not delusional is Javion Clowney. We know who that man is. We've seen him in college when he popped that man's helmet off his head, and I thought the man was dead. But somebody actually did CPR on the field. I guess he's perfectly fine. He's still playing. I don't know. Somebody called up the police because that man almost got murdered. Murdered. But Clowney gets a 1-year deal worth $10 million with the Browns. Now, how much will this impact that Browns defense?
I would say it would impact them tremendously only, and I mean only, if Jadeveon Clowney can stay healthy. Because with Jadeveon Clowney's resume, he does have the potential to deliver pressure and to have decent amount of sacks by another different QB. But at the same sense, injuries have been a big factor with Jadeveon Clowney throughout his whole entire career. But if he can stay healthy, that just brings less pressure on him because he doesn't have to fully do all the work. You still have Myles Garrett on the other side that can deliver pressure and do damage as well. But if two of them dangerous pass rushers with Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney going at it, colliding together, that dynamic duo, that front seven and that defense can be extremely dangerous.
They will be dangerous in that. With the AFC building how they are right now, not only the Browns, the Ravens, not only the Ravens, the Patriots, not only the Patriots, the Tennessee Titans, not even the Tennessee Titans, the dang gone Kansas City Chiefs. And Patrick Mahomes mentioned that is a heck of schedule with his toe surgery and getting that repaired, and he's already got it repaired, so he's ahead of schedule. He even think he'd be playing in the opening. I say relax. If you get a preseason, relax. Let the secondary play or something. I don't know. Do something. But on the other hand, that's a good move by the Browns.
And the Buffalo Bills.
And the Buffalo Bills. We cannot, will not disrespect the Buffalo Bills as we just did. But don't worry about it. It is what it is. Let's go to this one. the 49ers got a lot of thinking to do. Jimmy G. Somebody call him porn star Jimmy. Can't do. It's the same thing. We know Cam is delusional. But I'm letting him breathe today. I'll let you breathe today. But in the same sense, he's deeply sad. In the same sense, the 49ers, should they keep Jimmy G or let him go? I mean, like right now, quarterbacks across the league have cemented themselves with a contract. Only one I haven't heard about is Russell Wilson. I haven't heard any talks about what is going on with him in Seattle because it was a hot topic a few weeks ago, and now it's like, Russell who? He's staying in Seattle. But the 49ers, should they draft a quarterback and get rid of Jimmy G and let the sucker go back to the New England Patriots with Cam Newton and the boys? Or what should they do?
I think they should keep Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, yes, he's have been battling some injuries, but when he's a healthy quarterback, he can show you and prove to you why he can be the best at what he does and why he's a good QB. And alongside with different receivers that you have with Deebo Samuel and other guys and George Kittle, that could bring the decency amount of talent alongside with your offense. However, they do need to tighten up the offensive linemen just a little bit. That way, by Jimmy Garoppolo having time to step back and get his feet planted, he doesn't have to like quickly just throw it outside of bounds, or just throwing it directly to the defender. So it's important for the 49ers just to beef up that offensive lineman and also get other offensive guys on their roster.
Most definitely. Jimmy G, he has the ability to become someone franchise QB, but injuries play a big role.
It does.
And he's had some tough injuries that look like he can't overcome quite yet. And he got a lot of improving or showing to do. Don't tell me, show me. And that's what I'm looking at Jimmy G right now in the 49ers. Another 49ers probably like, oh, hold on now, come on.
But I will say, if he does like come back 100% healthy, this is the year to like show them, hey, I'm back. I can still be y'all starting QB. I'm going to show you and prove everyone wrong.
And talk about another quarterback before we switch over to the NBA and what they got to talk about. The Falcons.
Mm-hmm.
And Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan, Matt Ryan. Now, we've seen Matt Ryan at his best. Matty Ice, sometimes call him. But it looked like that ice turned to water after the Super Bowl with the Patriots. That's been a long time ago.
Killer.
But that was devastating, for sure. I lost money in that game. But in the same sense, on the other hand, should the Falcons draft Matt Ryan's replacement in his draft? I mean, they got some good draft. They can sure buy up. They might be close enough. I don't know if they're in the top 5 or not, but they didn't win too many games this year. So do you think they should? I mean, now they gave Matt Ryan enough time to kind of make adjustments. And he haven't shown no kind of improvement. Some people call it the coaching staff. But as long as I know, coaching staff's on the sideline making calls, not making plays.
And that's the thing with the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, the Atlanta Falcons, they have the decent amount of talent on paper, but it's like when you actually watch them, it's like all that talent just goes to waste because you don't know how to utilize them in the proper way. So in this scenario, I just think with Matt Ryan's case, I think it's best for the Atlanta Falcons to draft a QB. And the QB that I was thinking about just hearing the Atlanta Falcons is Justin Fields from Ohio State. He has the potential. He knows how to play through injury. We've seen it in the championship against Clemson. So he has all the capabilities in the world to like show you that I'm that guy. And with all sense, I just think the Atlanta Falcons just need to make new adjustments and just move forward.
I completely understand that. Now, that concludes the NFL hot topics for this week, but the NBA, hold on, we're not done. But in the same sense, let's talk about the NBA. The NBA playoffs start May 22nd, right around the corner. It's a run around faster than what we think. We say May 22nd. I got some time. Oh, no, you don't. Because by the time you go to sleep, wake up, it'll be May 22nd, and we go over the playoffs.
That's true.
Not only that, the NFL draft is coming up. We'll talk about that in another podcast. But in the same sense, injuries. James Harden, LeBron, Donovan Mitchell. We got a lot of players injured. The hot players are injured. They're sitting on the sideline jumping up and down. As my pops once said, he think they're just sitting down and playing hooky or fishing until the playoffs. Smart. They'll think about it. I'll give you a minute. But in the same sense, let's talk about not only that, let's talk about a lot of things that transpired in NBA over time. We got Steph Curry playing lights out, but it came short last night. And he said it's been a nice little golden ride. And he ain't talking about McDonald's. But in the same sense, let's talk about not only that, how CP3 and the Suns, do you think, with them becoming the hot, fiery Sun, and we know what the Sun is all about, do you think they are a legitimate title contender?
I think they can be, but at the same time, when you really look at different teams in the Western Conference, you still got the Lakers, you still got the Clippers, you still have the Dallas Mavericks. It's just so many different teams that like can show you what they're capable of and show you that we ain't done yet. Don't sleep on us. So with the Phoenix Suns to actually be that title contender, they're gonna have to show more. Just keep showing more, winning games, and if they can do that, then they'll be a huge threat.
They definitely will be. And another question, with that being said, the Nets. I'm not gonna do it. Cam, we'll wait on you. And speaking of which, I'm believing that Cam with the plan is right here and right on the outskirts. And I mean, we're talking about the NBA right now. But first off, brother, how are you feeling?
I'm pretty good. Look, I didn't want to intrude or anything. I just wanted to let y'all know I'm good. I'm sorry I can't be on the show tonight. I'm just with family right now, take care of some things. But I just wanted to check in with y'all. That's all.
Hey, we make sure we know and we understand, and I inform the GGE family of what's going on, and our hearts and prayers and everything goes out to you and your family, brother.
Definitely appreciate it. But I'll give you a call after the show's over with. All right.
Okay, sounds great.
All right.
All right. So Cam just wanted to drop in just to basically say that he's doing just not all the way fine, but you don't imagine losing a loved one. We've all been through it. No matter how far, close, wide, and you're not close, it's a family member. It's a piece of the puzzle going away and never to come back. But again, our thoughts and prayers go out to not only Cam, but his father, his mother, his family. It's part of life, but it's unfortunate and very sad situation. But back to the story of the NBA and talking about not that is now the Nets. I'll let Cam. I'm gonna say that for Cam because I know his Luke is gonna come back on here. But and the main thing, let's talk about if LaMelo Ball was to return, the possibility could return from injury. Will the Hornets be in the promised land? Like, will they be? Will they end up being a contender? I mean, especially making the playoffs high.
It's possible that they can be a contender, but with LaMelo Ball's status of injury, I just think it's important to take it slow. I mean, yeah, LaMelo Ball, he's one of your talented guys on the team, but if you really want to be cautious and you really want LaMelo Ball back, it's important to take this sort of injury very serious and just be smart about it and just be cautious about it, because who knows, he could be cleared today or tomorrow and come back and re-injure the same wrist injury. Then you would just be out of luck for the remainder of the season or the playoffs, depending on if they make it.
Yes, indeed. Now, this is a question bigger than sports. We've known how, over time in Kobe's lifetime and career, he was an advocate for not only the WNBA, not only for being a girl dad and being who he is, and not only that, but being an advocate for the culture, being an advocate for everybody, being an advocate for justice and just for the right side of history. But in the same side, we talk about LeBron James trying to take the passing of the torch since Kobe's tragic and sudden death that we all witnessed a little over a year ago. Now, this is a question me and Cam talked about privately over the phone, and I wish I could get Cam's opinion, but we'll get it later on next week's show. But do you think LeBron James is the Malcolm X of the NBA, and do you think Kobe Bryant is the MLK? Because when you look at how soft and well-spoken Kobe was about issues that we face in this great in our nation today, and still are facing, and the turmoil that's going with that, and you see the way that LeBron James is reacting versus what Kobe would have reacted if Kobe was with us today. But would you say that Kobe is the Martin Luther King and LeBron is the Malcolm X of the NBA?
I would say it's very close. Just the way how when certain and serious situations like happens during a period of time that everyone watches or everyone notices. I just think when it comes to Kobe and LeBron just coming together and speaking on a certain situation, I just feel like with that they both leaders, but at the same time I just feel like it's not that like higher up. But with LeBron and how he speaks on it, he does show you that he cares about the community, the livelihoods of everyone's lives, and just a way to like help them, support them through all costs. And I just think it's very important for not only us speaking or watching on the podcast, but everyone around that's watching him and just listening to LeBron comments and what he has to say and what's his perspective on certain topics and situations.
It's a lot. It's a hard topic, and one of the reasons I brought that topic up because we see how LeBron is that advocate, and he bites like Malcolm X would bite, and Kobe is soft, well-spoken like Dr. King was before Dr. King's sudden death to our African American community. Now, another thing, and this is off the topic, and that concludes the NBA. in WWE, and we don't have any MLB stuff right now because that season's just starting. But something that happened and has been tragically impacting African American and the Caucasian American community across the world. We saw a video years ago, almost roughly and almost very roughly 2 years ago.
Yeah.
The fatal death of George Floyd. In that video of however long it was, trickled in everybody's TV and cell phone and at their fingertips. And that individual will never return home due to another person's evil willness or mind to do something to another person and create harm and death.
Tragic.
It's very tragic. But this event, not only the other ones that's going on with the 15-year-old Miss Bryant that was fatally shot by a police officer not only a couple of days ago, but then we have the young African American gentleman in Minneapolis fatally shot in a traffic stop. And it could have been anybody. It could have been me. It could have been you. It could have been your girlfriend. It could have been my girlfriend. At this moment, we don't know what the world's going through.
That's true.
But we had, not only we, but America as a whole, the black community as a whole, receive some type of justice. And some people go, okay, I understand the justice you're talking about, and I understand everything. But in this sense, for the family of George Floyd, there was justice in the courtroom, but there's no justice to bring him back home. Because that 9 minutes and 32 seconds of that knee on that neck will never bring him back home. His daughter will grow up fatherless. And imagine what she would know when she get older, as she understands, that she don't already understand what's going on with this incident.
Mhm.
But Derek Chauvin received a guilty verdict of 3 counts: second-degree murder, third-degree murder, and manslaughter, in which them charges carry up to 75 years.
75 years, I think that.
But in the state of Minneapolis, is at the discretion of the judge. And that could be 10 years, it could be 40 years, it could be 75. It could be the book or no book. But this event changed a lot of lives. It changed our livelihood of how we look at things, and it's scary. But this event helped to make sure that the world don't go as much chaos that we already are in. But in the same sense, if let's say this, so George Floyd's case came in a verdict that was necessary. The police officer needed to be put away. He murdered somebody, go to jail. Now, if this verdict would have flopped the other way, and let's say Derek Chauvin got no time, he was not guilty, how do you think that would have impacted sports worldwide?
It just gives you a clear view in different like aspects of life in general. Just how us Americans or just black people in general, how they've been mistreated. And so when you just look at that, it just shows you that how America as a whole is very corrupt and very chaotic. And just for us to just trying to spread love and trying to be equal like we want, it just slowly takes time, but we just gotta come together and just reunite once again.
Yeah, we definitely got to do that. And one of my slogans that I live by is "Love conquers all, even hate."
Absolutely.
And that's what I want to really leave you guys off of today. Is love conquers all. Not only that, be a goal getter. Not only that, it's just the bottom line to it because teaching says so. But again, guys, that concludes NFL, NBA, MLB. Again, keep the Taylor family in prayers. Marcus family and prayers. A correspondent of WLST and ASV, another sports view. Stay in contact, and we definitely be there every Tuesday at 6:45. I think 6:45, 7:45, one and two. Just be there, and we'll be live. But again, guys, we'll be back. I got some good things coming up, guys. Let me tell you this before we end up closing out. I got guest speakers. I got my boy Xavier Cruz coming on. Don't ask me what he do. Just know what he do. You look him up, or I'll bring it to you. I got Jesse Henninger in Front Row Sports, and hey, boy, oh boy, that man has a plan. And I ain't talking about Cam Taylor. But in the same sense, you got that soon and surely, we got Cheryl Green with a capital E. She'll be returning very, very soon. Not only that, I'll be bringing